Which language in your eyes is the best? In the sense of it being able to communicate truth, be able to communicate values, which is Arabic. There you go, Arabization. That is why Coptic Christians ended up living in their country speaking Arabic rather than Coptic. Can you be compassionate?
Yes, I can.
Can Allah be compassionate?
He is your passion.
There we go. So you're made in the image of Allah.
Is it the same?
This is what we would believe. This is what we believe.
Is my compassion the same as the Creator?
Tell me how it's different.
That's what you think.
Does Allah have reason? Is Allah rational?
That's what you think.
Does He create a rational universe?
That's what you
Are
think.
you rational?
I'm rational, yes.
Yes. Is Allah rational?
No.
So we're going to do a talk.
What's your name?
Bob. It's
nice
not
to
my
meet
real
you.
name. Not my real name. Okay. It's a name that I use here.
My real name is Kumail.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Kumail.
meet you. What church do you go to?
I'm a Christian. I just
Which Christian?
just a Christian. All Christians are just disciples.
So do you go
of
to
Christ.
church or no?
Yes, of course I go to a fellowship.
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you that. That's a private piece of information.
Right.
You know.
My wife is Christian. She goes to Russian Orthodox.
Brilliant. And you're Muslim?
Yes.
Then, brother, have you studied the Orthodox faith?
I go once in a while.
You go once in a while.
Yeah, well, I used to, but
And what's your impressions of the Russian Orthodox Church?
I don't really know because I don't speak Russian.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do play drums.
Yeah.
So they said because they didn't have a drummer.
Right. So it's not a Russian Orthodox church. You got.
Yeah,
It's like
because
a Russian
but they're
Pentecostal
all
church.
Russian.
Yeah.
They're all Russian.
Yeah.
And they all speak Russian. The whole thing is in Russian.
I would love to go.
You
Sounds
should
like
come.
a great church.
You should come.
Where will I find it?
It is in Apex.
Apex.
But they closed down the church because I don't know. They had to. But yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage you, bro, to like they might be speaking and practicing the faith in Russian because the reason is that our.
What about Messianic Jews?
One second. Let's not jump from topic to topic. So, because our faith, it doesn't practice cultural imperialism. You know, what it does is it takes a culture as it.
So you're a
finds it.
non-denominational Christian.
No, I'm not non-denominational Christian. It takes the culture as it
I am
finds
too.
it. 1 second.
I'm a non-denominational
Okay,
Christian.
so it takes the culture as it finds it and it elevates the culture by amplifying that which is good within the culture and diminishing that which is bad within
I
the culture.
completely agree with that.
It's not like Islam, where it Arabizes.
Non-denominational Islam?
Well, there's the Islam that has Arabized all of North Africa.
There's a lot of different Christians.
Can you give us an example of
There's
how
a lot of
Egypt.
different,
Egypt.
Give us an example.
Yeah, Egypt. I'm just giving you an example.
Give us a practical example.
Yeah, I'll give you a practical example. So a practical example of Arabization, yeah? What was the original language of Egypt before Arab conquest?
You tell me.
It was Coptic, yeah? Now, do you know anything about Coptic?
No, not particularly.
Coptic is its alphabet is Greek, but its words were the words of the pharaohs. Okay, right. So now what is 1 second?
So what is
1 second.
intrinsically?
What is the language of Egypt now?
What is intrinsically bad
1
about
second.
that?
What is the language of Egypt now?
Okay, Arab.
So that's Arabization.
Okay, so what is
that? So sorry, 1 second. Is that an example of Arabization?
Perhaps. So,
Perhaps. Yeah.
perhaps.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
what is intrinsically bad about that?
What's intrinsically bad about that? Because it denies the culture of the people that it oppresses. You know the Coptic Christians.
No.
Yeah, it denies the culture
Now
of the Coptic Christians.
You've introduced
were forced to speak Arabic.
You've introduced the concept of oppression now.
It is oppression.
How is it
It's
oppression?
cultural oppression.
How is it oppression?
It's because the Coptic Christians, they remember their language. They celebrate their liturgy in Coptic in their
Still
churches.
not demonstrate how intrinsically.
Yeah, so it's
how
oppression. I'm going to explain how it's oppression. I know you can't accept it because you have to defend Islam at any cost. And despite the fact that the Quran says speak the truth even if it is against yourself, despite that, we know that Muslims don't follow those kind of injunctions from the Quran, especially here in the Path. So here's the Arabization. You asked me how it's oppression.
But let me,
You asked a question about how it's oppression. Let me answer.
And you said that the premise of your statement was that you said that Christianity does not practice cultural imperialism.
No.
Okay?
No.
Okay, so bearing that in mind,
Yep.
you explain to me how this taking over so-called Arabization is intrinsically evil, intrinsically bad.
Right, so I'm going to explain it to you, but you interrupted me the
but
last time I tried to answer this question. So
under
let
the
me
backdrop of your
explain to
statement.
you why it is intrinsically bad. Would you agree that God has created all of humanity, not just the Arabs? Okay, and would you agree? Self-evident. Self-evident. Thank you. And would you agree that those cultures that are not sinful, like a language, is not a sinful thing? Yeah, is something that is unique, that has equal dignity with Arabic. Does Coptic have equal dignity with Arabic?
Equal dignity?
Yes, equal dignity with Arabic.
Define what that means.
So that it is of equal value, that it is of equal importance as Arabic.
Well, I could only answer if I knew more about Coptic.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to know anything about Coptic.
So the question, you're
dodging the question.
No. So the question is, are all languages equal then, effectively?
All languages equally dignified. Yes, that's the question.
I would say no.
No.
There's
Which
probably
language is better? Which is the best language?
Naturally, there's some languages that are grammatically
Which
or
is the best
linguistically more
language?
superior than others.
Since you've created a hierarchy of language, which is the best language in your eyes?
So you're saying, I'm saying that all languages are not equal. You're saying they're all equal.
Yes.
Okay.
So which language in your eyes is the best? In the sense of it being able to communicate truth, be able to communicate values, and be able to communicate everything.
Okay.
Which is Arabic. There you go. Arabization.
Okay.
Now why
You
is
still
that
not demonstrating how
intrinsic? Well, because you keep
Okay.
interrupting. Because you keep interrupting.
Okay, go ahead.
If you could actually just discipline yourself for a
Okay,
moment.
okay, Bob.
Control your tongue.
Okay,
As
like
you're
you
instructed
demonstrate
to.
all the time as well, yeah.
So, in terms of why it is intrinsically wrong, because I believe that all languages are equally dignified. Okay? And to supplant a language is also to supplant a culture. If you say to the Coptic Christians that they can't speak Coptic, they have to speak Arabic, if you suppress their culture,
Is that what happened?
That is exactly what happened.
Okay, I don't know the history. I have to take the word for it.
Yeah, what ended up happening is that as people adopt Islam, what they end up having to do, because as you've just demonstrated, Arabic is suddenly considered the best language, yeah, then they end up adopting Arabic as their language.
That's different. You saying they were forbidden from speaking Coptic.
Because
that's what you're suggesting and implying.
No, well, what I'm saying is that Islam leads to Arabization. That was my original comment that
so
you
they
took
weren't
question
forbidden
with.
from speaking the Coptic.
It
was a natural progression.
It was an Arabization. That is what I said, and I'm glad we've
semantic
established.
about it if you want.
No. It's an Arabization, exactly. And let's look. The Berbers, did
like
they
the Hellenization
speak?
of the.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That was
when Alexander
evil. Was that intrinsically evil or bad?
I would say that that sort of suppression of other cultures in the Hellenized empire of Alexander the Great.
Course of history.
It is a natural effect of history. It's a natural
And it's
effect
not
of
intrinsically
power.
bad.
It's a natural
And
effect
it's not
of power.
intrinsically bad. And you've yet to demonstrate how intrinsically bad it is.
I'm trying to, but you keep interrupting. Again, if you could just discipline yourself.
Bob,
of course it is. Of course it is. But then you can't complain if I don't manage to finish a sentence without you interrupting. You then can't complain about it.
Waiting for you to demonstrate.
So because you keep interrupting.
Yeah,
Of course you will. Of course you will. So the reason why it is intrinsically bad is because I believe that you're made with the same dignity that I am made. And therefore, your culture, where it produces something that is not sinful, is as equally dignified as my culture. Okay? And that includes your language. Your language is equal to my own. And what's your native language?
Well, my mother's tongue is Urdu or Punjabi.
Urdu or Punjabi. Yeah? Okay. So that language to me is equal to English. In dignity.
How do you
dignity.
say that? You don't know.
But in Islam,
you don't know.
in
You
Islam,
can't make that statement.
in Islam,
you know nothing about. I'm presuming, but you know nothing about Urdu or Punjabi, do you?
how do you say that it is? How do you say that it is?
You can only make that statement if you know anything about it.
No. What I can say is that because there you go. Again, once again interrupting. Oh look, he's covered his face again. He's back to covering. There we go.
If
There we
you
go.
cannot,
this
if
guy,
you never
this
ate
guy
an
only
apple.
ever heckles.
I'm not heckling.
Whenever I
I'm
try to
trying to tell-
debate this guy, he runs away.
I'm trying to
Yeah, if
contradict
you want
yourself.
to debate you, I'll debate you. Yeah?
If you
making a
want
point.
to
Debate. Right, come
you
here
don't
and
let
debate
it.
me.
No, I don't want to debate
Right,
people like
so
you.
be quiet then, because I'm having a conversation with him.
I think you
Yeah.
claiming something.
Anyway,
Falsify
anyway, and this often, sadly, is why I end up having to shout.
You've never eaten enough.
This is why I have to shout, because when I try to have a normal conversation with someone,
can
I
just
end up with
ignore
this
him,
guy
Never experienced
shouting.
Carry on, bro.
Anyway, so I say, and the Christian faith teaches that because you're made in the image of God, your
No,
culture.
you're digressing.
Once again, you're interrupting. No, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish
You
this
said
statement.
English.
So I said that why you are dignified is because you're made in the image of God. And that means that your culture, where it is not sinful, is equal to my own, and that includes your language. However, Islam says that God is not multilingual. That God can only speak Arabic, and that is the heavenly language. And that's why Muslims have to pray in Arabic. That's why Muslims have to bow to an Arabic city. That's why they imitate an Arab. That's why they copy the habits of an Arab. And the result of that is the suppression of cultures. That is why Coptic Christians ended up living in their country speaking Arabic rather than Coptic. What's your reply?
No.
What's your reply?
Hold on. Still waiting for Bob to explain how all cultures.
So you
and
ignored
all
my
language,
point.
All languages.
You
are
ignored
equal.
my point.
So you ignored my
You
point.
ignored my
No,
point.
You said English is equal.
This conversation's not going to be very fruitful if you just talk past me. Engage with what I'm saying.
Engaging with you.
Engage with what I'm saying.
You said. That
Shall I help you
English-
engage with me? Because you're missing the point.
You said no. I'm not missing.
Yeah,
the
you
point.
are.
No, I'm not missing the point.
Go on.
You said all language are equal.
Yes.
I gave this. You asked me about my mother's tongue. I said
Yes.
Punjabi or Urdu.
And I said it's
You
equal to English.
English. I said you can't
Arabic.
make that, you can't make that statement
Why not?
unless you
Why not?
unless you know about Arab.
No,
about the other
that's not the
languages.
premise of why I said it's equal, though, is it? What was the
Okay,
premise?
What was the premise?
Because he wasn't listening.
I was listening.
Now let's see if anyone
I
else
was
was
listening.
listening. Why
I
did
don't
I?
agree with your
One second.
premise. I don't agree with
So
your
what was my
premise.
premise?
Just because we're made in the image of God.
There we go.
That was your premise.
There we go.
That was your
He
premise.
struggled, but he got it. He got
I
it.
didn't struggle.
Audio recall. Audio recall.
I didn't
Right.
struggle.
So now engage with that. Engage with
I don't
that.
need to engage
Engage
with
with
that because I don't necessarily
that.
agree. I
Now,
don't
this is
agree
how
with-
Muslims work the
I
crowd.
don't agree with
Yeah?
your premise.
Yeah.
I don't agree with your premise.
Right. So why do
So
you not
why
agree
do I
with
have
my
to agree
premise?
with your
So
fundamental
let's
premise?
debate the fundamental
No.
premise.
No.
Because if I'm
Why
right,
do I have to agree with
let
your
us debate
fundamental
the
premise?
fundamental premise. What do I mean by saying man is made in the image of God?
He wants a video.
What is
He
What's your
wants to show you.
fundamental belief?
Don't show that video.
So, no, we're going to show that video.
No,
You don't get to do nothing here.
Wasim,
You don't get to do nothing here.
Wasim,
There is no Sharia here. We're not your supremacist ideology. You don't get to talk. You don't get to sit tell anything. No, we're going to film.
Let me ask you a
We're
question.
going to film.
Can I
We're going to
talk to you
film.
separate?
We're
No,
going to
no,
film.
Wasim.
Right.
No.
We're gonna film.
What do you say about Sharia?
gonna
What is
film.
Sharia?
No, we're going to talk about
don't
what
even-
I'm talking about with this guy here.
Wasim,
Wasim, that's your name.
turn away. I
Yeah?
can turn away.
Turn away.
He's not
Yeah, turn
interested.
away, Wasim. Turn away.
Turn away.
Turn away, Wasim.
Turn away.
Arabization needs to be stopped.
What a
And if you
thing,
want to
man.
stop Arabization, you have to stop Islamification.
No, you're this guy.
So, anyway.
Come and talk to me separate.
Yeah.
Come and talk to me
So,
separate.
Let
You
us
would never- No,
let us
don't
look
film it.
at why I say man is
No, you
made
know-
in the image
you
of
know where
God.
King George is from?
Belief.
Yes, exactly.
No,
But I'm
I
going to
agree
show
with
you
that.
why,
Don't
and then we're
touch- you
going
know
to
where
debate
Jesus
whether
born?
it's true or
Come
not.
talk to me separate. You know
I'm
where Jesus
inviting
born?
you
Your
to
fundamental
debate
belief.
whether
In a foreign
it is
land.
true or not. I'm going to invite
speaking a
you to
foreign
debate
language.
whether it is true or not.
Hebrew.
Why are you being
Aramaic,
rude?
not
Why are you being
English.
rude? Why are you being rude? Put the camera on this guy. Why are you being rude? Why are you touching his camera? No, why are you touching his camera? Why do the Salafists always come to the park and act like they own the park?
Let me talk
Don't
to
talk.
separate.
No. Put him on camera. We'll talk to him. I'm going to stand here. He's filming me. No. Get off his camera. Get off his camera. Get off me. No, put him on camera. Let's put the Salafists on camera. Keep your hands off other people's property. No, we're not interested in your supremacist nonsense. This is how the thugs of Islam behave in the park all the time. Keep your hand off other people's property.
Interested in your
Why did you touch his camera? That's why I touched you.
interested in your fundamental
So,
belief. I'm interested in what
we'll
you're
go
saying
back
about
to the
language.
original discussion.
No,
Let's
no,
talk about
no,
this.
I'm not interested in your fundamental fundamental belief.
No, no, no.
We're
Because
made
the
in the
premise of my
And I
argument
don't
is
agree
based
with
on
your
my
premise.
fundamental. Right, so let's
and
debate
that's a
it.
subjective premise.
So let's
Give me
debate it.
self-evident proof
So
that
let's
all
debate
languages
it.
are equal.
Let's debate
No,
it.
no, I'm not
Let's
interested in
debate
your
it.
fundamental belief.
Let's debate
No, I'm
it.
not
Why
interested
is
in your-
Wasim running away?
I'm not interested
He
in
came
your
to. All right,
fundamental
right. If you don't want to
belief.
debate me, I'll talk to everyone else.
You can speak to anyone
Right,
else.
I will do.
You do.
All right then.
But
So,
I was dealing
are
with
we
your
made in the
premise.
image of God?
No, I don't believe that.
Okay, let's debate that then. Are we made in the image of Allah?
You're gonna speak.
Tell me, does Allah have reason?
That's what you think.
Does Allah have reason?
That's what you
Is
think.
Allah rational?
That's what you think.
Does He
I'm not
create a
interested.
rational universe?
That's what you
Are
think.
you rational?
I'm rational, yes.
Yes. Is Allah rational?
No.
Their God is irrational.
No,
So
I never said that. Allah doesn't think like us, but we're not dealing,
So he's not rational?
We're not dealing with
So
your
he's irrational?
We're not dealing with your fundamental
that would
beliefs.
explain why Allah
We're
comes out
not
with a
dealing
lot
with
of
your
irrational
fundamental
commands to
beliefs. We're dealing with your
to
initial
Muhammad.
premise that all languages,
Tell me.
all languages
me.
are equal.
Tell me.
So tell me how all languages are
Can you be merciful?
equal. I can be merciful.
Can Allah be merciful?
Allah is all merciful.
Okay, so you're made in the image of Allah.
So is that what you mean? Is that what you mean?
Can you be compassionate?
Is that what you
Can
mean?
you be compassionate?
Is that what you mean?
Can you? Yes, that is what I mean.
No,
Can
that's
you be
not what you mean.
compassionate?
That's not what you
That is
mean.
what I mean. It's amazing. Wasim is actually telling me my own beliefs.
That's not what you mean.
Rather than just ask me
No, it's
about
not-
what I
that's not what
believe,
you
he's
mean.
telling me what I
That's
believe.
not what you mean.
That is what I mean.
How is that what you mean?
That is what I mean.
From your text, that's not
Can
what
you be
mean.
compassionate?
Yes, I can.
Can Allah be compassionate?
He is your passion.
There we go. So you're made in the image of
Is
Allah.
it the same?
This is
Is
what
my
we would
compassion-
believe.
Is my compassion
This
the
is
same
what
as-
we believe.
Is my compassion the same as the Creator's?
Tell me how it's different.
Is it?
So
because
tell me
that
how
is
it's different.
His is perfect and mine is imperfect.
No, so it's a matter of degree then.
No.
It's a qualitative difference, not a quality difference.
It's perfection, yeah, perfection.
So that's qualitative. That's a qualitative
the same, so
reasoning.
it's not the same, is
No,
it?
no, no. That is the
So
same.
it's not equal then?
If something
It's
is
not the same then, is
more
it?
of the same
It's
thing,
not the same.
then
Is
it
it the
is
same?
the same.
No, it's
That
not
you
the
don't
same.
understand the philosophical difference, but do you understand
I
the
do.
difference between qualitative and quantitative difference?
Of course I do.
What is a quantitative difference?
Difference in degree, like you
Right,
said.
and
So,
you
but
are
it's not-
saying that
and it's not
Allah
the same.
is compassion
And
is
it's not the
perfect,
same though, yes?
and yours is not perfect.
Absolutely.
So that is a quantitative difference, not a
Okay.
qualitative
So how does
difference.
that relate to
How
all
is
languages?
how
being
is your compassion?
So
How is your
So
compassion?
how does that relate to
Right,
all languages
okay.
and all cultures?
So allow
being
me to-
equal?
allow me
How
to
you
answer
digress
that question.
To this far, I don't know.
Allow me to answer that question, okay? Because for those of you that are catching up with this conversation, I'll just give
How you digress?
I'm not
All
digressing.
cultures
I
being
am
equal and all
catching. I'm
languages
going
are
to.
being
I'm
equal.
going to catch
I
up.
don't know.
But you just interrupt all the time, Wasim, because your
it's my
dean
prerogative.
has
It's my
failed you,
prerogative.
like his dean
Yes, okay,
fails
you
him.
can- you can-
It doesn't make him into a better
Your
man.
derision- your
It
derision-
makes him
your
into a
derision
supremacist.
there- your derision
That
doesn't
is his
mean anything.
attitude. So let us just catch everyone up. I was talking about how Islam leads to Arabization. And we talked about
And he
the
was gonna
example
prove how it is
of
intrinsically
Coptic
bad.
Christians
He hasn't proved
have
it's
their
intrinsically
language
bad,
stripped away
like the
from them.
Hellenization
They speak
of half the
Coptic,
world, he knows
not
isn't
Arabic,
intrinsically bad.
but because of Islam's domination in Egypt, their culture was suppressed. And then the brother said, well, how can you say that one language is equal to another? Because the brother there says that Arabic is the superior language to all languages, superior to Greek, superior to Urdu, superior to English, superior to German, superior to Italian, superior to Coptic, superior to Syrian, Aramaic, Hebrew. Now, I said in response to this, no, all men are made in the image of God, and language is an expression of their humanity. Therefore, according to the Christian worldview, all languages are equal. That was my premise. Wasim then said, well, that is not something I agree with. So I invited Wasim to debate it. And I asked Wasim, is he compassionate like Allah is compassionate? Is he merciful like Allah is merciful? And he said, no. Allah's mercy is perfect, mine is imperfect. Allah's compassion is perfect, my compassion is imperfect. Which means that he was working from a quantitative difference between his compassion and mercy and Allah's compassion and mercy. Quantifiable, quantitative differences are of the same kind. I invited Wasim to explain how qualitatively his compassion was different from Allah's and his mercy was different from Allah's. And he couldn't answer the question except to give a description that was based upon quantity. At which point he admits that he is made in the image of his creator, which is something that Islam denies, that we can see is rationally true, and is something that is taught in the scriptures in Genesis. Now, I invite Wasim to come back in and explain the qualitative difference.
Can you commit evil?
Yes.
Can you commit evil?
Yes.
Does God commit evil?
No.
Well then.
No.
So how is that the same then?
How is that
How
the
is
same?
that the same?
Can I do good?
Yes, you can.
I can do good. Is Allah good?
Yes, of course.
How is your good different to Allah's good?
It's different because
How?
Allah's actions are perfect, my actions are imperfect.
So it's quantitative.
So it's not the same. No,
It's not qualitative, it's quantitative. Allah is more perfect than me. That's a quantitative description, not a qualitative description. In other words, there is an inconsistency between how we reason this metaphysical question about God and what the texts of Islam say and what the texts of the Bible say. But the texts of the Bible accord with what we rationally can reason to be true.
Really?
The texts
Like God
of
becoming a human.
Islam
Like God becoming a human.
contradict what we rationally know. And I'll explain the question about evil in the words of our father, Saint Augustine, that evil is simply the absence of good. It isn't a thing in itself. It is simply the absence of another thing. It is like the shadow that the sun casts. It is the absence of light. A shadow is not a thing. It is the absence of another thing. Evil is the absence of good. And therefore, I can be evil because I lack God's Spirit within me. I need more of God's Spirit within me. Wasim and the Salafist supremacists there need more of God's Spirit within them. Now, let us therefore work forward. If we believe that all human beings are equally dignified, then that means saying that the culture of the Arabs is superior to every other culture, which is what actually works out in practice when Islam dominates the society.
Bob,
And if you don't believe me, go and ask the Coptic Christians their experience.
You didn't say about
Go and ask the Christians of Sudan. Do you honestly believe that the Nubians in North Sudan spoke Arabic before Islam arrived? The Christians of South Sudan had to fight for 18 years against a forced Islamification, against forced Arabization. They fought for 18 years, and 2 million of our brethren died fighting jihadists who sought to impose Islam and Arabization upon them. We can do better than Islam, and that betterness is found in the Christian faith. Because in the book of Revelations, we see that our vision of the future is not that everyone will be worshipping Allah in Arabic, but that everyone will be worshipping Allah, Yahweh, the one true God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, in every tribe and tongue. Which means that our vision, our eschatological vision of the future, is what eschatological. There you go. There's a new word for you. Yeah? That vision of the future is of a confederation of tribes, equal in dignity, each worshipping the one true God in one communion in many languages. By contrast, the vision of the future of Islam is that I will worship with other tribes in Arabic. in Arabic.
Could you give the cognate of Yahweh in other languages, please?
Yahweh is a name, it is translatable.
Okay, what's it in English?
It's a Hebrew
What's it
term.
in English?
It's a Hebrew term.
Thank you very
But
much.
because it is a noun, it is transferable.
Okay, what's it
No
in
one would say
What's
that
Yahweh in
Isa is
English?
not a name.
What's Yahweh in English?
So, Latinized, to answer his question, Yahweh Latinizes into Jehovah. So, and we Christians can use the name Jehovah and Yahweh interchangeably. So we do not suppress one language and one culture. Christians can worship God by magnifying the best of their own culture. So Christianity makes the best of English culture increase and decreases what is worse within English culture. By contrast, the experience of the Numidians in Sudan and the Coptics of Egypt was to see their native culture be replaced by Arabization. Even in this park we've seen examples. A Jamaican converted to Islam. 1 week he was wearing a suit, then he became a Muslim and started dressing like an Arab. Think about that for a second. We've all witnessed it here. Arabization and Islamification go hand in hand.
Perfect.
But as Christians, we simply say no. As Christians, we say that Namibian culture is equal to Palestinian culture. Palestinian culture is equal to Arab culture. Arab culture is equal to Punjabi culture. Punjabi culture is equal to Russian culture. And you should magnify that which is best within your culture, that which elevates man, that which elevates your soul to the good, and suppress that which is opposed to the good. And we don't define the good by a 7th century Arab. We define the good by that which is love, by that which is hope, by that which is faithful, by that which is true, by that which is humble, by that which is just, by that which is prudent, by that which is wise, by that which is good. These are the things that we pursue. And I suggest to all of you that there is a better way than is being offered here by the Muslim Dawah team. And that is the way of Christ. It elevated barbarian hordes in the 4th century, my ancestors, and it elevated them to be the kinds of people who produced the Basilica of St. Peter's, the work of Picasso, the work of Dali, the work of Raphael. I'm not going to go through all the Ninja Turtles. But yes, Michelangelo. I was going to avoid going through all the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. The Christian faith elevates the soul of man because it makes him look towards that which is true and noble and just and beautiful. And the thing that you look at, the thing that you look at is the thing that you emulate. The thing that you look at is the thing that you emulate. Muslims are encouraged to look at a 7th century Arab, and so they emulate a 7th century Arab. But we as Christians are called to look towards that which is love, hope, faith, prudence, justice, wisdom, humility, truth.
Catholics, Christian.
And if you look at those things, it will edify your soul. And that is why European civilization, Ethiopian civilization, Armenian civilization, well,
in advance of their surrounding cultures, produced civilizations that are the envy of their surrounding cultures. And with that thought, I call you to Christ, to pick up your Bibles, to read them, to find a strong fellowship, to learn about this way which is Christ's, and to build yourself on the prophets and the apostles.